Hello, welcome back. This is Jeff Byers, and this is NE150 in Module 2. This is Part 2. We just added materials to the base of the dice and the pips. So we've got textures on there that we can change as we light and render these object. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead and create a table for this. So it's going to create a cube. So let's go to Poly Modeling, the shelf on the Poly Modeling. Click on a cube. So the cube, if we click on the cube, let's go Control A so we can see what we have here as far as Polycube 1. If you scroll down under Inputs, you need to be in the channel box editor. So if you're in this editor here, this is the attribute editor, okay? Channel box is right next to it, so you can switch between them, or you can do Control A and that'll switch between them automatically. All right, whatever you feel comfortable with, go ahead and go into Inputs, and under Inputs, let's go ahead and highlight all three of those. I'm just clicking on one and pulling it down, and don't worry if you can't do that, just type in 1 for each one of these. All right, like that. Hit Enter. And then we can go ahead and do the scale. Okay, and we're going to squash it down with the top. Make it pretty thin and scale that up to make a table. It can be just a plain cube table like that, something like that. Now we're going to have to squash the table down or something. Oh, I think that's okay like that. Click on the cube and move it up to the top of the table. Again, like I showed you, if we zoom in, we can actually get it close and zoom in quite a bit. And now we can use the Alt and the up or down arrow key to move it to the top of the table. Another cool thing I like to show students is we can place objects on top of things pretty easily, and I'll show you how I can do that. We just need to get between the table and the other object, and we can place this object onto the table. If I remember right, I don't do this all the time, but if we go into Modify, Align, let's do the Snap Together tool and see what happens. We click underneath, if this is the right one. Yeah, that's it. And so you don't want to click on a pip, so just click on something that gets the arrow to point down. Usually the corners would probably work really good. And then you just click on somewhere on the table, like that. And then you hit the Enter key, and it places it right on there. And if I go to, let's say, the right side, it's right on there. Look at that. That is amazing. It does a really good job. Or you can just place it on the table yourself. All right, so there you go. There's your table, and we need a color for the table, and that's really up to you what kind of color you want to add for the table. I'll leave that up to you. So go ahead and go right click over and go to Assign the Material, and we do want an AI Standard Surface material for Arnold. So AI Standard Surface, and I choose, let's just type in table. I choose a different color than gray. Okay, TX, table TX. And instead of gray, I want to go, maybe a light blue. I'll just kind of play around with the color that I want. I don't want anything really bright. I want the dice to really stick out. So kind of a contrasting color or a darker color would be good. That would really pop, but not too dark to where you can't see the shadows. So you have to kind of find your spot. And we're not going to really play with this too much until I see exactly what kind of reflection I get from the table onto the dice and vice versa. I want to see what the dice looks like on the table. And then we can do some other really cool stuff like an action shot of the dice being rolled, tumbling, or whatever. So we'll just play around with that a little bit. All right, so with that done, we've got the table finished. It's not much that we need to do. Let's go ahead and duplicate this one. Let's do a Control D and hit the W key and just move that over to the side. And I would recommend, if you're going to go side by side, that you rotate them so we can see the other side of this. Let's say bring this over like that so we can see the top. Something like that. Now I'm going to go to Control A, or go into the channel box. And you can see some wild things happening here. Let me do rotate -180. We're kind of off kilter here. So I need to clean this up a little bit. D4, that's just this rotation here. Okay, so that's good. I want to be able to see the top of this one and two sides, top of that one and two sides. That looks good. That way we can see. Now we do see this again. Let's go and rotate this around. There we go. We want to see a different side. There we go. So now we are showing the top. That was on the bottom here, and then the other two. So we can see all of them. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. And I kind of want to see that. And let's bring that in a little bit, like that. Maybe back a little bit. Kind of make things a little bit interesting. There we go. Back a little bit this way and this way. There we go. All right, so we can get some. There we go. Something like that, whatever. Doesn't matter, because we're going to be setting up the lights. So the lights, we can use regular lights as far as lights go. So we're going to go to Create, and we can go to Lights. So lights, we got ambient light, which we're not going to use. We got directional lights. We are going to use those. I'm going to get into the other lights here. Spotlights are fun. Area lights are fun. Directional lights, this is more an exterior. Since we don't have any walls or anything, we can use directional lights. If you have walls, can't really use directional lights because it will hit the outside of the walls and not get in anyway. Point lights are like a light bulb. Okay, it shoots rays out in all directions. A spotlight shoots rays in a certain direction. An area light shoots rays in a certain direction, but it looks more like a fluorescent light, a long fluorescent light. And a volume light we're going to talk about later, but right now, not right now. But so those are lights that you would normally use in your scene are directional light, point light, spotlight, and area light. All right, so we're going to use directional light first. All right, so I'm going to click on directional light. There we go. And I'm going to bring it up, and this is what it looks like. You have to look at it just like this is like the sun. It doesn't matter where it is. It only matters what direction it's facing, so the rotational value. That's what matters. So to show you this, go to lighting here and use all lights. So when I rotate this, you can see that it will start lighting up certain areas of the cubes as you rotate. It makes no difference where I place the light because it's like the sun. Alright, so it's just rotational values, so I'm going to go ahead and rotate that down a little bit like that. And so you can see you can get some nice lighting here with a directional light by just moving things around, okay, like that. We're going to need a 3-point light system. No matter what lights you use, we're going to kind of mess around with different types of lights. So we're going to mess around with this light first, and what I'm going to do is I've got to figure out which one is my key light. When you watch those videos, you know we have a key, we have a fill, and we have a backlight or rim light. Okay, so we have 3 lights. That's called the 3-point light system. The key light is what's going to actually shoot out rays so you can see a shadow. We only want to see one shadow. So if this is outside on a table, we're going to only see one shadow because, like, you know, outside there's only a sun. The sun is shooting rays down. There's only one direction, one light source. So with this, though, we want to show what's happening, though, if I just have one light. If you go behind the dice, you notice that there's just this pitch black. That's because there are no other lights that are in the scene. And you don't want that. So what we're going to need to do is we have a key light. This is going to be the key light. So I'm going to go ahead and go into the channel box layer editor. I'm going to change the name of this. Actually, go to the attribute editor, and we're going to change the name of that light. It's a directional light shape 1. Let's just call this the key light. There we go. That's good. So there's the key light. What we're going to do is, I'm not going to worry about what's happening here, the color or anything like that. I'm just going to go Control D and duplicate it over. Okay. Now we have a light that's this way, and we've got a lot of dark areas over here. So this is the key light. Okay. And this will be the fill light. So I'm going to move this over here like this, over here. So there's the key light. I'm going to move this over here, and we're going to kind of rotate that around like this, so it starts to show and fill that area up there, and that's called the fill light. All right, so that's the fill light. So we got the key light, and we're going to click on this. This is the fill light. So let's see, key light, and this is going to be fill light. So I'm going to kind of do fill light. There we go. That's the key light, that's the fill light. So this will not have shadows. We don't want to add shadows with this light. So the rim light will be in back. That's the black areas right here. So I'm going to go Control D and move that back. Okay. And of course, go into the back here and start rotating that to shine and give me some light on this area here, like that. Normally the rim light is up a little higher. Let's bring that up, and again, it doesn't matter where it is. I guess I'm just so used to bringing that rim light up, and then kind of rotate it around like that. Okay, so now if we were to render this, this would be really, really bright. Okay, so the key light will give us the most light, and normally with the key light, I usually turn the key light down to 8. Okay, just to start off with. Okay, whoa, 0.8. I'm sorry, 0.8. A little too much there. And then the fill light is half of that, so that would be 0.4. Okay, and then the fill light is half of that, and that will be 0.2. The key light's giving out the most light, and then bounce light coming off of the ground and other objects will illuminate this object. It doesn't matter if you're outside or inside. Light bounces around. It hits a surface and continues to bounce until it runs out of energy. So with the fill light, you still able to see what's there, but we have more of a shadow going on. So that's a 3-point light system. The key light has the most energy, so that's 0.8. The fill light has half the energy because light has been bouncing around in the scene, so that has about half the energy. And then the rim light, it could be 0.4 if you wanted to, depending on what you're trying to achieve. But I'm gonna knock that even down farther to 0.2, and that gives us a shadow. Usually, a shadow kind of tells you that the key light is going to have a shadow coming this way. So we'll see how that all looks, and we can always make changes as needed. So right now, this is our light system, just a basic 3-point light system with a key light, a fill light, and a rim light. Okay, I'll see you in the next video.